Today I'm doing a little walk around our backyard and trying to show you some of the flowers that we have here. Back in here we have a small little pond. There are some water hyacinths in here, and in the spring there's a lot of marsh marigolds that come up early around in April, and they're gorgeous. A euonymus, a red maple tree. We have a mum that wants to keep on coming back every year now. We have black-eyed Susan and echinacea, honeysuckle, one of our 4 water fountains. It's always nice to have a water fountain for the birds. More black-eyed Susan, boxwoods. And over here you can't see it because it's about 3 in the afternoon. But we have moonflower, and it's very hard to find these. Every night around dusk or 8 o'clock, depending on where you live in Ontario, they'll come out and they'll be bright yellow. Sometimes there's as many as 3 or 4. Then they'll die down overnight and come back the next night. We have many of these in the yard, flower pots that my wife makes every year. This is, if I could catch this, instead of just having a gray, ugly looking concrete block on the garage, we had a professional artist come in and do a mural of a cottage scene. I'll kind of zoom in here, with a lake and an island and a canoe. This here is a dock, and it's so realistic. When you're walking up to the garage, you almost think that you're walking on an actual dock with the pylons there. It's just gorgeous. Back in here, it actually looks and resembles like a log cabin, and she utilized our 2 existing windows so they blend right into the cabin theme. We have probably a dozen different hostas in our yard, and a lot of them are different. I wish I could tell you what the names are. And if anybody's a horticulturist, I'll try to zoom in on each one of them, and you may even recognize it. Oh, before I get in on that one, this is our welcome sign. It's like a cast iron. Get the whole picture there. It's really nice. It's beautiful. It's the first thing you see when you come in the backyard. Here we have tiger lilies and day lilies. They haven't bloomed yet, but they're going to be gorgeous. There's always something blooming here. It'll bloom, it'll die off, and then something else will come up. We have a lot of dahlias and marigolds. My wife doesn't really care for the marigolds, but I love them. They're beautiful, and you get a lot of bang for the buck. They'll last right through into late September. This is just one of the gardens that we've got in here. Here's another boxwood coming around to the flowers. Trying not to jitter around here too much. Hopefully you can appreciate that. But it is nice to come out in the backyard and have a coffee and sit and look at this. I'll switch over and take another picture of the mural. I'm going to zoom in and see if you can see that a little bit better. Okay, now we're going to come back out, and I don't know if you caught that. We have several milk cans we bought at estate sales. I painted them different colors, and my wife made up flower baskets to sit in each one. For example, there's a red one. Now let's zoom in here. Every one of these dozen hostas is just slightly different in the color and in the shape of the color. Some will be completely dark green, some will be completely light green, some will have the green on the outside with yellow on the inside, and some will be the opposite. Some will actually have white on the outside or white on the inside, and it's just beautiful to look at the way the patterns are. If you can see that one there that I'm highlighting, I'll zoom in on it. Every one is just slightly different, and you can read something into each one of them. Okay. I'm going to come out of here now. I'm going to turn around, and there's our marigolds. Now, here's another garden here. Let me stand back so you can see it. Okay. Each one is a little bit different. This one's got a beautiful spirea in here. I'm going to zoom in now so you can see it's just the flowers are just coming in. And it's going to last for probably a month. Another dahlia. We have lots of phlox in our backyard, and it all comes up at different times. This one that I'm showing now is called a David phlox, and it has great big white balls on it. It's really beautiful. Probably won't come up for another few weeks. On the other side of the spirea, there's always flowers all around here anyway. But on the other side we have another phlox. Now this one's already started coming up a few days ago. This one's blue. Let me zoom in on here. It's just gorgeous. We spend a lot of time out here, so it's nice to see color. Here's another one of the milk cans. There's all different ways you can restore these and paint them. A lot of people they're really artistic and paint flowers on them. I just painted them solid colors. Okay, so now we'll go on to this garden over here, and here's another one of our bird baths. And it's really important in a backyard to have several different bird baths. The birds love it, butterflies. We'll be sitting down and you'll see them in there splashing around on a hot day. I made these these are 4x4 cedar posts. I wanted them to last, and we put hanging baskets on them every year. Geraniums and million bells. There's one there, and then there's one over here. And at the top there's a oriole feeder. Okay. We have another boxwood. And there's phlox in here as well. The one we're looking at right now is a white phlox. It just came up. They're all different. Over here is another spirea. And now, let me open up this. This is mainly a hosta garden. And there's 5 different hostas in here. Every one's just slightly different. And we have a couple other, we have a concrete fire hydrant in here and a frog, different rocks. I'll try to get close and see if you can pick out the subtle differences in each one. We'll start on this one and then we'll move around in a circle. Okay, so here we go. Let's zoom in. And you can see, hopefully, the different patterns between this one and this one here. Okay. We'll move around. And the next one in line is just a little bit different again. Just like everybody has a different fingerprint. All these different hostas have different names and they're all just slightly different. Different in color, different in size, different in texture. Just going to show my bird bath. It's always a good idea. We check the water on them every day. But I always throw some small stones in there so that the birds can stand on them while they're drinking the water. And some of them have their daily bath in here. It's beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to move over to another garden, and it has a water feature in it as well. It has another hosta, actually 2 hostas, and they're both different from the ones we've already looked at. Let's just move in on there. And excuse me if this jitters a bit. So we have a variegated Lorraine here. We have some nice red dianthus. We have lots of lamium. I've got 3 different types of it. It's so easy to keep up and it spreads. I'm always picking some up and giving it to other people. But it's a gorgeous ground cover. So this is a solid green one, this hosta. More marigolds, more dahlias. We've got lily of the valley in here. It's always beautiful. Perennial, comes up every year. See if I can zoom in on it a bit. Okay. Another hosta. I'll zoom in on it, and it's slightly different than all the other ones you've looked at right now. Let's take a look at the leaf. Diversification is what you want to see in your backyard. So boring to just have just grass and nothing else. More lamium as a ground cover. And here's another lamium. This one's going to be yellow. It hasn't flowered yet, but it's gorgeous. There's another one here. I think it's lamb's ear. And it's just starting, well no, it actually is blooming. There is some yellow flowers there. Let's zoom in on that. Okay, now I'm going to go across to another part of the yard. We have a large hemlock here, and it has Japanese spurge, and I believe the correct name is Pachysandra. See if I can get in here closer. Okay, there's another garden over there. I'll be there in a second. I'm going to just turn around and catch some of the flowers behind the garage now. Okay. Okay. There's one there. This has 3 different types of flowers in it. The first ones coming up this year are yellow evening primrose. And then there will be blue